Paul. Yeah. I just want to make sure that I know exactly where the fossils are and how they're being used. Now, they have this thing about portraits of faith. Yes. Some Haitians. Oh, the hoodoo voodooists. Yes. Voodoo, as it's written in religious traditions of Western Central Africa. Yeah. Catholic Church. Oh. It's not superstitious, is it? Because, they have the service of the spirits invoked by a priest. The priests, the spirits possess worshippers, inducing a trance-like state. She looks like she's in a trance, doesn't she? Yes. I've had some sexual experiences where I thought that the other person was in a trance. you know, um, there's the possibility of doing some trance sex puppet programming. Yes, where you can actually take the memories of an individual that's tranced themselves. Yes, and put it in their sexuality. Then when they turn their sex on, pooch, their eyes look like this and they're in a trance. Oh. Now, of all the sexuality programming that's went on where when possessing a worshiper, a spirit is said to be riding the horse. Worshippers in the trance that accompany spiritual possession are guided between the many altars set up in the caves. Oh, I'm needing some volunteers that they would say that they don't really remember what they're doing when they are sexually stimulated. Yes. Until they awaken from the trance after they've had an orgasm. Oh, now I happen to know a lot about the Hoodoo Buddhists because Legina was adopted from Haiti. Yes, and I found out that there were some Buddhists that didn't really like me. Now I understand the slaughter of fowl, goats, or cows is part of their religion, and these sacrifices lead to feasts that are intended to nourish both the spirits and the faithful. But let's say you wanted to be possessed by a spirit, yes, and you wanted to be in a trance, yes. And then you have some sort of sexual experience after that where you don't really remember what happened, but it was such a tremendous spiritual experience that you would want everybody to experience it. I wanted to know what memories were taken during the time of the sexual experience. See, the trance is kind of an odd thing. I remember some sexual experiences where I was looking at the individual that I was having sex with, and if she were to actually stimulate herself while I was watching her do that, yes, it caused her to look at me with some very odd eyes as if the turning on of her actual program sexuality, pooch, was something she didn't want me to experience with her. Now, last night I was thinking about some volunteers that wanted my left hand to be their cervix, yes, and would want my right hand to be their male orgasm. Oh, and the thought was if I could get between their leg and their outer labia lips and get that electricity, they could turn on their sex, they could trance themselves, and I could watch them have an orgasm, and then they could watch me have an orgasm. Now, I have the left hand of the cervix and the right hand of the male orgasm. And it's frustrating for those in the come to find out family where what happened was somebody decided they would be the bee of the eyes. See, every volunteer that volunteers to give me their orgasms, I buy them a full length mirror and a seat that they can sit on so their eyes that control their hands can watch them stimulate their sexuality so they can trance themselves and then they could comb their memories so they won't remember what they did before they sat on the chair and looked at their naked body in the mirror. When the bee of their sexuality is the eyes that control their hands, and they're used to looking down at themselves instead of straight ahead. There's a possibility that a lot of those that have the programmed sexuality that I want to reprogram, yes, if they were to focus on the mirror, the eye of the bee would see the image in the mirror, would control their hands, that would control their sexuality. Oh, now, I know how many women want a full length mirror so that the eye that looks through them, yes, could control the hands that are on them so that the eye would stimulate their sexuality and they could be tranced while experiencing an orgasm so they could upload that to reprogram those that are in the Playboy. Hello, have. Now, this is exciting between heaven and earth. Yes, it is. This is a very ancient Christian culture that I'm concerned about Ethiopians. I have one Facebook friend in Ethiopia, one that I know of, Kadish. And as far as I know, she might live in one of these places. I don't really know where she lives.